Okay, so when you buy a travel trailer, you're gonna need something to tow it with. And within that tow vehicle, you're going to carry a good amount of necessities to help support this RV lifestyle. So what we're gonna do today is take a look at what we have in the bed of our truck and a little bit about what's in the cab of the truck as well to help support our lifestyle as we are full-time living on the road in our Airstream. You got to be pretty selective when you are deciding what goes in there, especially if you have something like an Airstream where you have very little storage. If you have a fifth wheel or a motorhome, most likely where you're putting all of the stuff that's in our bed is going to be in your trailer. So there's a difference there, but either way you're going to have a lot of the same things. So hopefully this is helpful. We'll go through and see, what do we use often, what do we not use, what's just taking up space, and how can we maybe better organize the bed of the truck to maximize the amount of space that we have. Okay, so you can see it's fairly organized, but you have to do a good amount of Jenga with the bed of the truck to really make everything fit. But for us, with everything we've decided that we want to bring along, we're able to fit everything in here with a little bit extra space. Not a whole lot, but anything that's a little thinner can kind of, I can find a spot for it if I need to. But let's jump in. First thing, you've seen this a lot. It's long in width, right? But it's slender this way, so it can slide real nicely into this little section right here. And it's one of the last things that I usually put in anyways, because it's, where I'm breaking down is at the very end. I just slide that in there, so it's really nice. Something that goes along with that are these two 25-foot 0G hoses. You can see they roll up really nice and tightly so they don't take up a whole lot of space. That is key. I mean, I'm not super in love with everything about them. I mean, I've talked a lot about the connections and how they leak. And I found a little bit of a solution with the 90-degree elbow, but overall, I mean, you can't beat how small they kind of collapse down whenever all the water comes out. So that's really nice. Moving on, we've got our propane fire pit, which we really love. We honestly don't use it as often as I think we would like, but it's nice to have. I mean, if you want to get out and sit around a nice fire, it's nice to have, and you're going to be really upset if you don't have it. So it's a little bit bulky for the bed of the truck, but we make it work because we really want to have it. Okay, so this big orange thing here is our outdoor mat, and we really like this a lot. The brand is Sea Gear. I'll put a link down below. And what's so cool about it is that it's sand free. So what that means is it's built in a way you can kind of see like the meshiness of it. So if there's any fine sand or dirt at your campsite, then it's just gonna sift right through it, and that way you're not building that up on top of your mat and then walking over and tracking it into your trailer. So you will keep your trailer much more clean if you're using this. So really like that a lot. They've got a bunch of different colors and sizes. I think we got one of the larger sizes, but what's cool is it's two-tone, so we usually lay it out with this green side facing up, and then we just let the orange side get dirty. And we really like this thing a lot. As far as size, as big, hold on, pretty sure that's a smoke detector. Someone's burning dinner. All right, we're back. So as I was saying, as far as size, it folds down really nicely. It can go smaller than this. It just, with almost anything, once you take it out of the package, it's hard to get it back in. But The bag it comes with is pretty flexible, and it still works just great. And so lays pretty flat, doesn't really take up a whole lot of room, which is great. Okay, moving on a little bit further into the bed. We're gonna start with this big red thing. It's actually called the Big Red Campfire. Let me tell you, this thing is interesting. I shouldn't have it anymore because we bought a new one, and to be honest, we paid way too much money for it, unfortunately. And then it stopped working after maybe 3 uses. I think the line is really old, and so it just isn't allowing propane to flow through. Very unfortunate. So it's just taking up space right now. It's not too big, which is good, but once we get back to Dallas, this thing is going straight into storage. I don't want to throw it out or anything like that, because I think it is fixable if I just put a new propane line on it. So that's that. Okay, let's talk about a couple more smaller things that, again, just, if you add them all up, they take up a decent amount of space, but individually, you can usually find a spot for them. So this thing is just a little trash can that we set outside of the camper for Dublin's poop, right? So if we're out walking and there's not a trash can and we pick it up, then we can just bring it back here if there's not a trash can out there, and just set it right there without throwing it in our trash. And then whenever it's time to take out all the trash, we'll just empty this in there. So pretty useful to have. Okay, let's talk about another smaller thing. These are leveling blocks that I never purchased these. It was one of the first couple times that we went out camping, and we were chatting with one of our neighbors, and he said, hey, I've got some extra leveling blocks if you want them. So he brought them over, and they have come in super handy throughout every trip and every site that we've gone to. So super thankful for these, and highly recommend something similar for every RVer. Okay, moving right along, 2 of our favorite items in the bed of the truck are these chairs. Now, you can see they're pretty thin. They don't, collapse into like the traditional lawn chair. But these are super great. They've got a little rocker on them, and these were actually a gift as well from our great friends Corbin and Erica. So thank you so much. This has been one of the best housewarming gifts we've had. Trailer warming gifts, right? But anyways, we really like these a lot. They are just a really nice addition to our everyday life out here. The Weber Traveler. Woo! This thing is great. So there's another really popular Weber grill. I'll find it, but we almost went with that. But as we were looking, we found this thing. Now it has a little bit more of a footprint, but it also means you have more space on the grill. For 2 people, it's not a huge, deal, but sometimes you got friends, or maybe you just you want to cook your chicken or your steak or whatever alongside all of your veggies all at the same time. Well, you've got plenty of space here to do that. I love this thing a lot. Really cool. It collapses, obviously, as you can tell, and this little latch just kind of keeps it locked, and then whenever I pull this and push down on here, it'll raise up, and it doesn't, you can adapt it to run off of a quick connect, but so far I've just been using the green propane cylinders, and it works great. This is something I highly recommend. Okay, bins in any sort of storage situation are super useful. So if you can fit it into a bin, do it. I feel like we've done our best with most everything we have that can go in a bin. It stays in a bin, right? So #1 recommendation right there for any storage solution. If it can go in a bin, put it in a bin. I've got 2 here that are the same. I think these actually came with the Airstream, and I just use them for storage back here. So let's open them up and see what's in. They're both kind of just like a hodgepodge of things, like between...
Someone order a cold drink?
Yeah, I did. I need a cold drink because all these people making all these noises are stressing me out.
You think you're at a campground or something?
Gosh, how do you freaking make a video at a campground? You got kids, neighbors playing music. Like, can you just tell them to stop? Like, stop enjoying your time, please? I'm trying to make a video. Okay, so both of these are kind of a hodgepodge of different things, but for the most part, it's like cleaning supplies and grilling supplies. So let's take a look. I'll show this to you first like this, so you can kind of see. I've got some invisible glass wipes, tire foam for the truck. This is Walbernized wax for the Airstream. This is to help clean the tires. Got some lighter fluid because making a fire is not my forte. Spatula, towel, quick detailer, another towel, miscellaneous light bulbs for our string lights, some gloves that I don't ever use, and this is our old cable to our breakaway switch. Okay, let's move on to bucket number 2 here. Give you a look. Basically a lot of the same, right? So tire cleaner or wheel cleaner. This is grill cleaner. These are foam pads for waxing. So if I ever get around to waxing this, after I get around to washing it, I will use these to apply wax. I did use it at one point early on when I washed the Airstream and used this brush that they recommended that put little tiny scratches in the finish, so I was not happy. So I immediately dried it and waxed over it and filled in those scratches. Sunscreen, grill spray, it's like non-stick, propane, and miscellaneous stuff, goggles, stuff that we really don't ever need. Extra hitch pin, bunch of change for laundry, except there's no quarters in there, so that's not helpful. And an old modem that doesn't work. So this really is these 2 things, kind of miscellaneous items. Some I can get rid of, some I still are going to need, but I should go ahead and get rid of some so that I can make room for anything new that I might want to put in these. All right, let's go ahead and look at another bucket. This is an everyday use bucket to some degree. It's also the nastiest.
You're not gonna put gloves on?
Dev says I'm not going to put gloves on. No. Well, I did just show you some gloves that I don't ever use, but I ran out of my latex gloves, so I'll just bear with the nastiness and then go wash my hands after that again. Here we go. All right, so this is affectionately called the poop bucket. And what I've got is the hose that I use to flush the black tank, and it is appropriately black. It's honestly, I probably want to get a new one because it's not long enough sometimes, so it's kind of a pain when I want to flush, but I don't have the length and I don't want to use our freshwater hoses to flush our black tank. Anyways, that's one thing. I've got this little thing that's kind of broken and falling apart, but you can see it kind of goes from high to low, and it helps you drain if maybe you're on an upslope in your RV site. So it is really useful. Probably want to go ahead and get a new one, so if you have any recommendations on different ones that don't fall apart so easily, let me know. That'd be great. And then after that, I've got this clear elbow, which I've never used, but I have a different elbow on ours right now, but some put this like on the attachment to the trailer and at the end where it's coming out, going into the dump. I just use the one that's going into the dump. And then I've got a couple of extra dump screws. I'm holding it like this because this is what actually touches the sewer and where all of it goes through. So this thing is super, useful everywhere you go for the most part, as long as it's threaded. So when you go and you attach your stinky slinky, you screw this in and then you can attach it, and it keeps everything nice and secure, and you're not gonna be spewing sewage outside of its intended location. Two things here that don't really take up a whole lot of space. One, very useful, I use all the time. One, I never use. First, a broom and the accompanying dustpan. This thing is great. Sometimes you don't want to vacuum. It's easier to just sweep it all up. Use this a couple times a day usually, especially if we're at a site that has a lot of dirt all around it. You're inevitably going to be getting grit and sand and dirt in your trailer. Again, like I said, if you have the Sea Gear no sand mat, it's really useful. But again, for us, we have a dog that has long hair, and he's just always going to be bringing it in. So broom, always got to have a broom. Second thing is this pole with the brush attachment that I have used once, like I just mentioned, and will probably never use again on the sides of the trailer, but I can see it being useful for the top, for the roof. So I'm holding on to it, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but it is kind of annoying to be there when I really never use it at all. But it's nice to have, and I don't know, I really like this pole. It's high quality, Mr. Longarm. I recommend it if you have a use for it. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this while sitting in the bed of the truck here. This here is one of our favorite things as well. It is a camping table that folds up into this nice slender form, right? So it's got a little cover on it. Now this, it's from REI. I think it was about $90. So you can get much cheaper camping tables at Walmart if you want. But for functionality, it just hit and checked all the boxes for us. So once you take the cover off, you can do this. And then what's really cool, let me see if I can show you. You see it? Okay, yeah, you can see. Okay, so what's really cool is these legs have little levers, and you can move the legs up and down so that when, of course, you're not going to be on a level spot, you can then level anywhere. All right, so for this one, it's a little bit of a larger bin, so obviously taking up a good amount of space in the bed of the truck. It's got stuff that we don't use often, but it also has stuff that we need frequently while we're on the road. So let's just start. I've got an extra water hose here that I bought recently because I thought I would need it, but I don't, but I think I'll hang on to it. I've got 2 propane hoses. I bought this early on when we bought that campfire. I don't know why I thought I needed it. Still don't need it. And it was like $100, so not real sure what to do about that. I have another here that was given to me. It's already set up for the quick connect, so if I do end up converting my grill to not take the green propane containers and just do this, that would be what I would use that for. I've got extra filters for the ClearSource. It's probably about time to change those again. And then I've got a lot of cleaning supplies and fabric guard that I intend to use on like the awning, things like that. UV protection I think can also be used for the awning. Detergent, soap for cleaning the Airstream, a detailer, little grill cooking tray, a random frisbee that we've literally never thrown, a funnel that we used one time to pour bleach into our fresh tank that we all found out was a terrible idea, and collapsible sink. This has come in handy a couple times when we weren't on full hookups, and so I needed to conserve the amount of water that I was putting into the gray tank. And these things, which honestly are taking up a whole lot of space, and so I probably just need to grab a few and take them with us, but what they are, VAC Plus is what that says, but they are little bags that you can hang in your closet to absorb moisture. So you can see on the picture here, it's got like pebbles up here that, they're not pebbles, I don't know what they are, but they absorb the water, and then the water falls down into here, and you can literally see how much water this is sucking up. So these are really cool. Definitely nice to have. And then one bin that just has, well, fire starter, then cleaning supplies, some magic erasers and sponges and different cleaning solutions. So that's all that I've got in here. Definitely large footprint for a bin, but it's got a lot of essentials. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this thing up while I'm sitting in the bed of this truck. Let's start over here. This is a tray that we got at IKEA, and it is really nice. What we use it for is to lay under, like at the entrance of the Airstream, and we set our shoes on it. So I've got my golf shoes right here actually, so if we're really muddy and we need a place to set these and let them kind of dry off, it's nice to have. So highly recommend this. Just get you a little tray. This is from IKEA. I think it's actually meant for shoes, like in a closet, so pretty cool. Here, this is a collapsible trash can, really useful. We tend to go through a trash bag a day almost, and that's not because of the amount of trash that we have. It's because in the Airstream, it's like this big, right? Like if you live in an Airstream, you know. If you have an Airstream, you know. There is not a lot of space for trash. Somebody please figure that out, fix it. I need to start thinking and see how I can create a custom trash can that will hold more trash for the Airstream. Here we've got another sea gear blanket that we have taken to the beach a couple times. So it's smaller, just kind of something nice to lay on. So again, sand free, nice to have for sure. That's, you can see. So this is another bin that actually came with the Airstream. It went under our bed, but it has proven very useful to hold things for the bed of the truck. So let's just take a quick look here. We've got a bug zapper. I honestly have not used it a whole lot, but we haven't been in places where it's, you know, we've had a whole lot of bugs. But I guarantee you as summer approaches, that will be getting a whole lot of use. I've got our string lights here. These are really nice. They change color too, so it's got a little remote. These were a gift from our brother and sister-in-law, so this was great. I've got a 50-foot extension cord. I've never needed 50 feet, but just as a precaution, I've got 50 feet. I've got these 30-gallon trash bags that I use. More fire starter fluid, lighter fluid, more propane, another towel. This is a water filter for our drinking water that goes inside. A screwdriver, which I should probably put where it's supposed to go. Oh, dryer sheets. I was wondering where those went. And some more fire starter squares. So this is kind of a miscellaneous bin. Goes along with the other bins that are miscellaneous, but I use and access this bin quite frequently. Okay, I had to move out of the bed of the truck. That was extremely uncomfortable, but I told you I was saving the best for last. It's my golf clubs. Man, I could not hit the road without my golf clubs. And I gotta be honest, I have not played nearly as much golf as I want to be while on the road. So we're gonna have to fix that problem very, very soon. But these are my babies. I love them. They love me sometimes. I wish it was more, but we have a lot of fun together. So it's one of those things that, like, it's a non-negotiable. It is a pretty big footprint in the bed of the truck, to be honest. I know I could, free up a good amount of space if I didn't have these, but I can't not have these. Okay, so that's everything that's in the bed of the truck. I do want to go and show you just quickly what I've got in the cab of the truck. It's not a lot, but there are certainly things in there that you need and that I need while traveling and living this lifestyle. So let's go over there. Okay, welcome to the back seat. Moving right along with the golf theme. Right here, I've got my disc golf bag. Now this one, it's not a necessity, but it doesn't take up that much space. And it usually rides back here. It can ride back there, but I don't really have an issue with it here. So it's fun. It's nice to have if I want, to go and have some activity and just get my blood flowing a little bit, and I don't have the time for maybe a 4-hour round of golf. So not a necessity, certainly a nice to have. So now let's go down here and look at what's under the seat. Okay, so we've got a couple things. Really, this is the main thing here. This is my tool bag. It's got all of my drills and screwdrivers and bits, all kinds of stuff. I mean, if I had to have one thing and get rid of everything else, it would be this. So you're always going to find a need for screwdrivers and drills within and around your RV. I mean, there's some things in here that I don't need that I just have, before we moved in. So this is like a cutter tool. You put a little cutting attachment on there. Don't need that, at least now. Flashlight, nice to have. So certainly, if I had to have one thing, it would be this bag. I've got some wrenches here that honestly I haven't used, but they're not taking up a whole lot of space, and if I ever do need them, I'm gonna be glad that I have them. Along with that, some more bits for a little screwdriver tool. Got some more wrenches here. So mainly this is for tools. I've got some other miscellaneous things. I've got a jumper cable here, a bungee cord, some hooks that actually are made to go in the bed of the truck that I need to install so I can strap straps to it, and another drill. So that side probably needs to be organized a little bit more, but that is what's under here. And then we'll go up and look at two more things in the front of the truck. Okay, last two things that you can find in the front of the truck. One is our monitor for our tire pressure monitoring system. Super useful. We just kind of from the get-go decided we want that. We don't want to be driving down the road and have a blowout and not, know beforehand that it could have been avoided. So highly recommend a TPMS system. And then here is our very bulky monitor for our backup camera, so on the Airstream. It came with the Airstream. I'm not a huge fan of it. I mean, you can see just how bulky it is, and it's just kind of clunky. And I think if you bought it, it's like, I've seen it in the store, it's like over $300, and technology is way further advanced than what this is currently. So I don't recommend getting this brand, but I mean, if it comes with the trailer, why not use it and then maybe down the road replace it. So that's about it. After clearing everything out, I can see now that I definitely need to clean out all the dirt and sand that has accumulated in these grooves here. I cleaned it right before we went out again in February, but in just this short amount of time, it's already filthy. So gonna have to wash that out once again. But overall, I hope you found that useful. If you have any feedback in terms of storage solutions or other items, or if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Everyone does it differently. There's no right way. I would just say be as minimal as possible and take what you need. And then from there, if you have room, take what you want. That's kind of been our goal. What do we need? If we pack all that in there, and then what do we want? Like my golf clubs. I kind of need that too, though. If you have any questions about what we use, I will put as many links as I can down below. So if you're curious about any of them, you can find them there. Other than that, we will see you next week.